seatbelts for that, did we? No. We have one of our drivers, and he's a rock climber, and he brings his helmet with him. He'll be like, okay guys, I hope you brought your helmets, and he puts his on and he just starts going, and they're like, oh, I didn't know we needed a helmet for this. We like to have fun with our guests. Now, does anyone think we are on the glacier yet? No. Well, we are. Trick question. So this right here is called the ice core moraine. Now moraine, again, just a big pile of rock and dirt, as it is clear that we are on. And underneath this moraine is the ice core. So this big pile of rock and dirt is acting like a blanket and protecting the ice from the sun. So it's not directly beating down and melting it as quickly as the Athabasca Glacier that is exposed. No, it is a tad bumpy, or should I say rocky, no pun intended. That's my dad joke of the day. So they do say that once the Athabasca Glacier is completely receded, this ice core moraine will still remain here for 50 more years, which is very impressive. And if you look out on the left, you'll see those chunks of ice poking through the piles of rock and dirt. And you'll see it on the right-hand side on this big pile of rock and dirt. Alright, and we are now going to go meltwater rafting. So this is called the tire wash. Straight up ahead. And we use these natural meltwaters to help clean off the tires. And we do this purposely to minimize the amount of dirt we bring up onto the glacier. So there's something called an albedo effect. So what that means, you're probably familiar with it if you've ever worn a dark shirt on a hot sunny day. You know that you're attracting the sun, you'll feel hotter. So it's the same thing with this glacier. Whenever there's dark surfaces on the glacier, we're familiar with that. Now we're just about here. I just want to mention a couple more safety things. So I mentioned the boundary areas. You guys are welcome to take pictures with the Ice Explorers. Just please, please, please do not go behind any Ice Explorer. We are not fortunate enough to have rear view cameras. So they won't be able to see you as they're backing up. These are very big machines. You're welcome to take pictures beside the Ice Explorers with the tires. You can hug the tires, kiss the tires. I've seen it all. Just do not go behind the Ice Explorers. And if you have any garbage, please bring it up to the front. That's including gum. Even though it's white, we do know you're spitting it out there. And I will be leaving the door open to the Ice Explorer. So we have until 11:15. It is 10:45, so we have a solid 30 minutes. About 25 once everyone's unloaded. So I'm not part of the U.S. Navy. I will have to leave my men behind if you are not on the bus by 11:15. So please be aware of the time. 5 minutes before I will honk my horn. But I will be leaving right at 11:15. We don't know where they end up, so it is very, very dangerous. Now if you look out to the left-hand side at about 9 o'clock, we have the back of Mount Athabasca. So Mount Athabasca is 3,491 meters above sea level. And they guys say to hike up Mount Athabasca, round trip, it takes about 8 to 10 hours. Now, they do say if you are a beginner, it takes 12 hours to get up and 6 to 8 seconds to come down. And when you start that hike, you have to start it at 2 or 3 in the morning, because this is actually the back side of Mount Athabasca, but on the front side where you approach the hike, there's a lot more snow, there's a North Face Glacier, so there is a higher risk for avalanches anytime after 12 p.m. So you just want to avoid those. I would not want to be caught up in an avalanche. Now there is an independent glacier between those two mountains that we see on the left, and that is called the AA Glacier. So it's called AA because it's sitting between Mount Athabasca and then Mount Andromeda on the right side of it. So Mount Andromeda is 5 meters below Mount Athabasca. So the highest peak is 3,486 meters high. Still very high. Now to hike that one, there is a very hard approach. So people don't tend to do it as often as Mount Athabasca. But it is still doable. And you still have. Let's do it. Don't disappoint. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Athabasca Glacier, and welcome to my backyard. This Athabasca Glacier is 5 kilometers long and 1 kilometer wide. Now, as it's also receding and losing length, we are also losing the height. So like I mentioned before, this lateral moraine represents that height. You can think of the glacier as shrinking, kind of like a deflating balloon. So when a balloon loses air, it's losing the height and the length at the same time. So that's the same with this glacier over here. Now the lateral moraine isn't very sturdy sometimes, so as the glacier is receding, it starts losing some of the lateral moraine, so the rocks and dirt start to fall down. So up in this area, straight ahead, is where the old transfer base used to be, about 4 years ago. But as you can see, this is a very small space now, so we have lost part of the transfer base, which made us relocate to where I picked you guys up from. But if you look out to the right-hand side, you'll see the other lateral moraine. So deep down over there, that's where the glacier filled up in this whole valley. And you'll also notice that there's no road ahead of us now. What are we going to do?
Stay strong.
The glacier to melt a lot quicker, especially in those areas, and it starts to form cryoconite holes.
You can close.
So when these holes start to get deep, there's meltwaters that go into them. We do not have animals such as bears or cougars, so they hang out in the montane region. There's a lot more to feed on, berries, humans. Now up in this area, we do tend to see chipmunks, ground squirrels, hoary marmots that kind of look like a fluffy beaver. We can also see bighorn sheep and mountain goats. So they hang around here because they like licking the rocks. So there's actually a mineral in them called keratin, and that helps grow their hooves and their horns. Now it is also the same mineral that helps grow our hair and nails. So I come up here after my shift licking the rocks, trying to grow out my hair a little. So the bighorn sheep and mountain goats hang around this area a lot, and specifically on the right-hand side on the lateral moraine. So I don't know if Steph told you anything about a moraine. It's just a big pile of rock and dirt. So we have another one up here. And this moraine actually represents the maximum height